So, done. Another podcast recording today with Denisa. Denisa was simply amazing, and we discussed a lot about leadership. She shared amazing case studies from her current company, and I believe this podcast is not only for the C-suite people, right, the CEOs and the directors and so on, but also for middle management and people who need and want some inspiration. It's New Year, and I believe that we are already after Blue Monday, which is the most depressing day. And and I believe this podcast can help you overcome whatever fear you have inside of you, because Denisa was amazing, and really her experience is mind-blowing, and I'm really grateful. And I believe this podcast is the best thing that happened to me in this new year so far. So thank you very much for joining and tuning in to the Exceptional Average AI for the Rest of Us podcast. My name is Jan, and I am the host. Enjoy this episode. Ciao.
So for me, this is about, I call it gift of time approach. So where AI is going to speed up certain activities, give us the result we need, so that my leaders doesn't need to spend their time on it, and then they can actually coach people or do any other things on it. I was opening big flagship store a couple of years ago in Berlin. We have done the smart fitting rooms. So when you are in a fitting room, you're trying your garment, your whatever football jersey. You can click on the mirror, and it will change the surrounding of the fitting room, so it looks like on the stadium.
So hi and welcome to the Exceptional Average. My name is Jan and I am the host. Today I have with me Denisa. Hi Denisa.
Hello, Janko.
Denisa, I am super happy that I have you on my podcast, and there are two reasons for it. Because we know each other for some time, right?
Correct. Quite a few years.
It's probably quite a few years, exactly. And that's the one reason. The second one is I want to know some answers as from you as a leader and someone who led teams. And also, I want to understand a couple of things about how you see future of retail with this AI-based world, let's call it this way. So before we jump into my questions, which I have on my list here, you are currently a head of B2C Sales at Orange Slovakia. So can you describe what is your role about?
Yes, sure. Janko, happy to be here and really appreciate to be guest in your podcast. I'm not doing a lot of podcasts, so it's quite like new for me, but hopefully I will make it. Currently, I am for 1.5 years head of B2C sales in Orange Slovakia. Orange Slovakia is top number one mobile operator, and second internet and TV operator in Slovakia. Obviously part of the Orange Group, the global brand, which is based in France. And my role is I'm heading all the teams across different sales channels, which is retail, so retail stores, door to door, which are the people in the field who are going through the country and trying to sign the contracts for the services somewhere at the home with someone. And then, of course, telesales, which is the calling our database or calling our clients and asking them if they need something and if we can sell them something on top. So 3 main channels. I would say it's a commercial muscle of the company. So it's a residential sales. So this is really the biggest part of our business. Quite diverse, quite interesting and challenging as well. And I'm really proud of my team that I have, because they are doing a pretty good job, especially this year, which is quite successful for us.
Amazing. Congratulations to you and your team
Thank
for
you.
achieving the results you wished for. And Danny, how big is your team actually?
Good question. So internally, 53 people, and in the stores and the call centers and in the field, altogether 400 people.
Okay, so it's quite a big number. There are some people
For a little country,
working.
it's a big number. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I live in Poland, and I'm not sure how big Orange in Poland actually
Huge.
is.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to investigate this further. And and my question, I asked because you have on your LinkedIn that you are a commercial leader with a consumer-centric mind, and I know that you also created, as you say, winning teams. So what's your secret sauce? Let's call it this way, to creating and leading such a team of 53 people and then 400 in a project.
That's a great question. Doing business in a way of like sales, it's always leading people, engage them, motivate them, because they will then create the business, talk to the customers, and this is how the results will be achieved. So I usually see my role as a person, as a leader, to engage with people, lead them and guide them how they can achieve the best results so that they can pass it to their teams, and the teams, and we know that happy teams makes happy customers. So then they can sell, they have all the information, they all the tools and support, and they can achieve their results. I absolutely support development of my team, whoever it
Mhm,
is. So whenever someone is a potential or a talent, or even is really willing to develop and evolve, I am there for them. In the same time, I am also giving a very, I would say, constructive guidance how we should do the job, because not everyone is skilled, or not everyone is ready, not everyone is like immediately like getting the
mhm,
point. So I'm trying to balance between managing the activities and
mhm,
leading the people, so that altogether
mhm,
it can combine, so they feel confident, they feel supported, but they feel also accountable for what they need to achieve. And one of my things is also that I'm always saying to my teams, I wish you can say I have my best job yet when you do what you do
mhm.
right now, so that they are super enjoying, they're really successful. And of course, once they move, then they can say if the next job is better. But in the moment when they do what they are entitled to,
Mhm.
I'm happy if they can say, this is my best job and I enjoy, and I feel I can achieve what I want. So yeah, this is it.
Thank you for the tips, and I agree with you because we have this a relationship, right? When we actually worked together in the past, and I remember those days when we had those meetings, and you were able to motivate us in whatever situation that it was. Like if the shit hit the fan, you were still able to get us out of there.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah. I support my team, and I care about them, and we spend so much time in doing our jobs, yeah. And I
Hmm.
think that therefore it needs to be valuable. Yeah, nobody wants to spend eight
Hmm.
hours per day somewhere where doesn't, yeah, it doesn't go well, or it's not a good
Hmm.
atmosphere. So I think we need to make sure that this is something we can enjoy if we decided to be part of either the team or the company, and
Hmm.
therefore I think it's also important in terms of relationships, in terms of motivation, and I always try to also like role model certain behaviors,
Hmm.
certain like attitude, because usually whomever we surround ourselves, we are getting influence. So, and therefore, I'm really quite disciplined in the way that naturally, but sometimes like really the mindset and the attitude I demonstrate and I show, because people will in a certain way be impacted by that way. So if I want them to
Hmm.
enjoy, then I'm also the one to enjoy. I'm also the one to say, okay, this is a great result, let's celebrate. Or maybe this is a challenge, but let's have a look how
Hmm.
we can approach it. So yeah, I think it's also important that us as a leaders, we are role models.
Definitely. And Danny, in October this year, so 2024, I attended a conference in Prague, which was organized by Red Button CZ
Mm-hmm.
and also my very good friend and mentor, Roman Zelenka.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Leaders of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
And the main topic on that conference was AI assisted leadership. And when we had the discussion or panel discussion, some leaders said there is no such a thing, that we don't live in era and AI is just a tool and it's just a computer program or whatever. And on the other side, second half of the room was actually talking that they see changes in era where AI is actually impacting everything. And what do you think? Like, do you see changes in your role or in your position now when we have AI everywhere?
I would say that I am always very much about like new things, but not like in a like completely like trendy way. Yeah, this is a trend, I'm gonna jump on it. But I think AI, it's first of all, it's not completely new. It was here for some time, but it was not so massively perceived by us. So I'm exploring a bit, and I think this is gonna be amazing help in certain activities. And I know there
Hmm.
was like 2 years ago, it was a big kind of even threat that which roles will stay because AI will
Hmm.
replace them. But in the same time, we know that we basically cannot replace everything by AI because AI has also certain learning process and certain things that can be very technical, let's say.
Hmm.
So I'm trying to understand where we can actually use it, and
Hmm.
I would love to
Hmm.
do that. I'm quite happy that with Orange we are exploring these things. We have already
Hmm.
internal AI tool, which I am pushing my team to go and train and use. It's kind of ChatGPT but internal, which allows us to use internal data,
Hmm.
internal documents in. So, which I think is great because, of course, the other tools are not always secure enough to be used internally in the company.
Hmm.
So this is really good. And there are use cases which I already see where we already pilot and we are trying to explore where we can use AI. So there are millions of activities that are done in call centers. So we
Hmm.
call our customers, the calls are recorded, and then a
Hmm.
leader of the call center every week should pick up a couple of calls randomly and do the quality performance check. And it means he needs to or she needs to spend a couple of hours to listen to the calls, evaluate in the
Hmm.
questionnaire what was good, what was not good, what could be improved, being quite like, able to evaluate certain standards, certain, like how the arguments were provided, all the intellectual pieces,
Hmm.
and then he needs to or she needs to evaluate that and
Hmm.
provide feedback to call center agents. Altogether, we have like in only in my part as a sales part, it's 60 agents. So it's quite a lot of
Hmm.
work.
Hmm.
In the other customer care call center, we have like over the 100 of agents, and they do the same. So we already pilot the use case when
Hmm.
certain robots and certain AI can actually do the assessments on the random calls, assess what was done well, what was not done well, and provide a
Hmm.
feedback. Because that, of course, save time of the leaders, creates like a little bit of like calibration, I would say, because
Hmm.
it would be
Hmm.
assessed similarly. So, subjectively, if the leader is doing first call and is fully engaged, maybe the 10th call could be a little bit like
Hmm.
assessment can be slightly different. This should be calibrated properly almost on the same way. And the results will be provided like in a very short time compare what we do right now. So for me, this is about, I call it gift of time approach. So where AI is going to speed up certain activities, give us the result we
Hmm.
need so that my leaders doesn't need to spend that time on it and then they
Hmm.
can actually coach people or do any other things on it. So from the perspective of this, I see it as a gift of time approach. Yeah. So this is going to save the time so people can use it productively on something different.
Hmm. Very interesting. And actually, it answers the question AI assisted leadership that AI can actually do the job and leaders can actually lead, right?
Exactly.
Their people
Exactly.
and their teams.
Yeah.
So, makes sense. So, fingers crossed, because I believe this project can have a really huge impact, especially when it actually tracks the sentiment of the voice, right, of the
Mm-hmm.
people and so on. And just one thing which came to my mind, and I read it in a book from Daniel Kahneman called Noise,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the bias,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because that AI tool needs to be actually trained without any bias, so it doesn't judge people on the phone call differently than human would do.
Mm-hmm. But we have a quite like precise standards. Yeah. What's the
Hmm.
structure? We call it call script. So what's the structure of the call, what needs to be said,
Okay.
how to raise the questions, how to work with the objections. So I think this is something that we actually can learn or, create the AI upon it. And therefore, I think that should be still quite like objective. So because it will be rather about like if the things were done properly, of course, in terms of like was person positively engaging, was person not in a good mood when talking to the client. I'm not sure if AI can assess that, but from the structure perspective and really these detailed standard check, if the 15 things in the calls were done, I think this is something we can train AI on.
And just one now challenging question. Aren't you afraid of the thing that it actually AI will replace all those agents?
Voice bot, chatbot, we have that already. Yeah, we have that.
Okay.
It is the evolution. Yeah, it is obviously in a certain very mechanical ways. The voice bot, chatbots are already in place, and they do. Yeah. So the question is that those are the things that AI can do on behalf of people. So I would rather see then what opportunities we have for people, so that they can be part of. Yeah. So it's very difficult to say, we will replace all the call centers agents by AI. I would rather say, yes, let's have a look on activities which AI can do and can do productively, obviously in a different expenses as well, or the costs. But let's have a
Yes.
look where the people, where we actually need people, they can do the job and they can be still good. And I think there still needs to be certain governance. Yeah, so that there still needs to be someone to have a look if the chatbot and voice bot, does the right thing, and if the clients are telling us that the satisfaction or NPS score is still good. Because if the clients will tell us like the score is really bad because I don't like talking to the voice bot or chatbot, I think we should address that. So I think it's good to have an AI to go into the activities where actually people can also get a little bit like maybe very mechanical or very kind of like even towards, I don't want to say frustration, but a little bit like very monotonous jobs. Yeah. So I think it would be good to find a way that this is going to be a great replacement, and then what we can actually do with people on behalf of that.
Definitely. And I'm asking this question almost every guest because I like to dive deeper, right, when we have the conversation. And I can tell you from my point of view, the more I sit in this world of AI and the more I speak to people and experts from around the world, the more I see that it's not so easy to answer this question, right? Because yes, there are some aspects of the work and our jobs which will be replaced, but we still, as a humans, will be here. And I can confirm that one of the banks here in Poland actually tried to have this voice chatbot, and the experience is so bad that you don't want to actually even open the application and say, "Okay, I want to now talk to this AI agent," because it's so boring and the voice is very, it's simply basic, and it actually rejects, and it actually the kind of closes my motivation to, or demotivates me in order to use it, right? So I just want to switch it off and just talk to the real
Yeah.
person.
Yeah.
That's my experience here.
Indeed, the human interaction, it's such a unique, special thing that we should be smart around where we keep it, because it's essential and it elevates the customer experience, whatever experience, and where the human interaction is maybe not needed, and it could be done via AR, robots, chatbots. And I think that's the game, to really find where human interaction should be really valued and kept, and what are the other topics where this is absolutely not needed. And because indeed, just to like in the retail, I can't imagine that it will be everything will be robots or everything will be so like AI that there will be no human interaction, because people who are going to the stores, they actually search for the human interaction. Yeah, so that's why because normally, and COVID taught us the lesson, when you need conveniently shopping, you do it online. When you want experience, you go to the store. So therefore, I think the human interaction will still stay in a certain. That's why I'm not so much afraid. There was a moment when people were super afraid, like okay, retail stores will be gone. Yeah, during the COVID, I think there will be still need to have a human interaction and to enhance it. The experience can be enhanced. We can do millions of things in retail with AI, but the humans as an experience, as that's why I'm doing the effort to go to the stores, because I want to see, I want to try, I want to talk to someone, I want to check, I want to consult. That's where you need humans still. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's correct. And I can also tell you that when COVID was actually when started 2020, it was, if I remember correctly, right? 2020. It was the first start when I was thinking like, okay, let's open the digital agency. And then the COVID started and I had to close everything before I actually opened it. But I had many calls online and the interaction was like we have now, a conversation, right? But when the COVID ended and I physically opened and I went to the people, it was totally different, right? Now, when I'm attending conferences, it's definitely much more human, right? So I quite enjoy that one. And also, just for you to know, this podcast is recorded on a tool called Riverside, and it has AI built in.
Okay.
So at the end of the day, it actually will prepare all the shorts and all the videos based on our conversation, and it has algorithms. So it will analyze also our sentiment if I hit the button to do it. And this is something that, yes, we have the human interaction, but the AI will do the job.
Exactly.
Because I don't want to go through 60,000 lines of transcript to search for some information, right? So this is where I will use AI.
Another use case that I'm discussing with our team here is how we can do faster certain marketplace checks. Yeah, so you can gather data from different agencies. We can also gather data, of course, online. But I'm discussing with our teams like how we can make sure that almost on the weekly basis we have a certain marketplace pulse check to see different things, prices, competitors, promotions, and have it in a very, very simple way, visualized, provided, distributed, so everyone knows what's going on. Because I think we are still sometimes trying to check on the web pages and calling the info centers of different companies to check like what's the promotion, what are the prices of the devices, and I don't know what. And that's again something that could be done very practically, I believe, by AI. So I think it's about like, for me, it's still about like how to simplify certain things, how to make it fast, exactly with that gift of time approach, like where I can save time so it can be done by whatever AI. So I can use it then really fast and do the decisions. Yeah. The same, I'm talking to my team, like I want that they are getting faster in their certain tasks so that they can actually focus then on either important things or they can develop themselves. So that's why I'm pushing them as well. Let's try to figure it out what we can have the AI for. Yeah, we are leading retail, and we have almost 100 contracts as a part of the business, different suppliers, but also retail landlords. I see the help of the AI to going through and tell me from all the contracts, please review the documents and give me from all the contracts when the lease contract has a break point or the termination time, or when we need to, whatever, change something because the certain indexation of the rent payments is changing. And in the past, my team was going through that. They, of course, knew it by heart because they worked with that quite a long time. But it would be amazing if they can just get it in the couple of minutes done by AI, having that health check, sense check, like, okay, makes sense because I know that it can't be like completely wrong if this is certain number, this certain date, certain activity. And they can provide very easily inputs for any decisions we need to make and to manage the business. So this is where I think those tools that can actually read the documents and extract important things out of it could be super helpful.
Definitely. Uh, Answering the first part or your question or giving you my point of view, it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the solution. And if you want to reach out, we can take it offline
Super.
because I work with a company who is actually specializing in AI dynamic data, it's
Mm-hmm.
called, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
taking all the information from
Mm-hmm.
the internet, from
Ah,
the
yeah.
competitors and so on, and it can give you the answers in a couple of minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's actually searching the web. It's kind of similar to what ChatGPT
Yeah.
now does with the search,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it
Mm-hmm.
scrapes the internet, but this one is set to specific data and it will give you the answers to the questions you want. And when you say gift of time, and I really like this approach of you, and you also mentioned in the first part of this podcast that you are a role model to your
Mm-hmm.
team, and seeing what you are now just talking about, like how you are bringing AI and how you want to leverage AI, like what else do you do so you can role model yourself as an AI leader to your team? Like, do you have any personal experience?
I already arranged training for this internal AI tool that we have
Mm-hmm.
for my team. So they're gonna have it in January because I already have done it with the IT team or data team,
Mm-hmm.
and my team will go after that. Then we agreed that we're gonna sit and with certain activities we're gonna have a look if we can have a use case that we can actually
Mm-hmm.
use the either
Mm-hmm.
development team to really adapt that to us because they are also
Mm-hmm.
quite like hungry to understand where we
Mm-hmm.
can be helpful in terms of business,
Mm-hmm.
and then we would like to pilot a couple of these things. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
really engaging my team into have a look around, and I should say I have few people in my team which are even more advanced than I am, like very much advanced, and
Okay.
they're a big fan of it. So I think it's already kind of like, yeah, circulating in between them that how this could be helpful. And I think it's also important that we are not demonstrating kind of fear or kind of this
Mm-hmm.
confusion, like, oh
Mm-hmm.
my goodness, what is going to happen when there is an AI, but
Mm-hmm.
rather other way around, like, oh my God, that would be amazing if we have that, and that can
Mm-hmm.
help us, and that can fast the operations or speed up the operations. So I think we have already a little bit of like this positive attitude. And as I said,
Mm-hmm.
like from time to time we talk who is using what, how it worked. Recently we had a debate that because we are opening or creating for next year and really creating almost from the scratch kind of retail academy. We would like to enhance the education and leadership
Mm-hmm.
education
Mm-hmm.
for our leaders in the different sales
Mm-hmm.
channels. And one of the workshop was about like, yeah, how are we gonna call it, how it's gonna look like. And I said, okay, let's use AI to give us a logo. And we were actually really chat GPT ink how the logo could look like. Everybody was pushing like different colors. And and the first idea was, oh, we need to get the agency to do it. And I said, no, let's see. And we got it, quite a couple of examples, and we said, this is
Mm-hmm.
pretty okay. Let's use it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
there was a moment when they, because usually the process would be, okay, we need to engage the agency, brief them, get
Mm-hmm.
the calculations, whatever. And I said, let's
Yeah.
not overdo it. Let's try to see how we can make it. So we ended up with quite a decent proposal. So for now, we say, okay, whatever, once we are ready, maybe we can still check it with, obviously we will check it with
Mm-hmm.
our brand team, but we have a proposal. So it's something where we actually, people are happy because they were part of it. They used
Mm-hmm.
AI to
Mm-hmm.
enhance and get the result. We were comparing, we were resending to each other, and we were saying, this one is good. Okay, so what else did you ask so that you got different? And in the end, we said, we have it. That's it. And it was probably half an hour.
Mhm.
No
And you see,
agency
and you say,
involved, no
yeah,
costs
exactly,
involved,
exactly.
and I think that's where I think those are the good moments when everybody realizes, like, well, why not? Yeah, because there are things where you want to make it great, nice, sophisticated, but not always it's, in our logo for the retail leadership
Mm-hmm.
program would be
Mm-hmm.
not number one priority for our brand team. Yeah, obviously they have
Mm-hmm.
other priorities, so
Mm-hmm.
probably they will make sure to make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
but we got it in half an hour. Yeah, so I think that that's also about like, okay, is this something we can manage and handle and have an
Hmm.
only
Hmm.
sense check with them, or we need to
Hmm.
do it with them, and then it's a different process. So yeah,
Amazing case study.
simple.
I totally see you sitting there, like brainstorming about how to prompt ChatGPT to
Hmm.
create that logo. Pretty interesting. And then, when I'm thinking back now, you said also like a retail academy and how does it work? If I would have AI 10 years ago, oh my God, that would be the AI academy or a retail academy
Absolutely,
powered by like everywhere. We would do like personalized onboarding and so on. Like it would be everywhere, like analyzing data, traction, like
absolutely.
whatever scoring, and all those automatic reports. Oh my God.
I think I hope I can refer one of our colleague from HR, and he's a big fan of
Hmm.
AI. He's also engaging people cross company to have
Hmm.
these AI tools trainings. He actually developed with the support of AI. I don't know all the details. I'm not very technical in this one, but actually he created the little training about the feedback session. And
Hmm.
I had the opportunity because part of the training is that you actually practice that. So it's a
Hmm.
really created, you probably know the word, but so that in a certain moment there is a training. Okay, you have like 5 types of your colleagues and you need to
Hmm.
give them feedback. So you pick it up and there are coming
Hmm.
all the questions. What would you say? He said
Hmm.
this, she said this, etc. And
Hmm.
there is I think it's 10 minute session, which is
Hmm.
really practicing how to give feedback, and I think it's great. So they actually want to roll it out through the company, so to all the managers and leaders,
Hmm.
because it was good to, I picked up really difficult case, and it was really well done because the responses were
Hmm.
like pretty tough. Yeah, he was like, I don't have a
Hmm.
time, I do the good job, so why you
Uh-huh.
need to give me a feedback? And I myself as a manager, so I was responding, yeah, let's meet for the short meeting and all this stuff. And it was so well created that it was really giving me
Hmm.
a time to, okay, now I need to actually make it, and what should I say, what should I not say? And then it even assess the feedback session.
Hmm.
So then in the end, it was telling me, obviously, AI, these are your strong points. You did well, this, this.
Hmm.
This is something where you could have elaborated more
Hmm.
on the
Hmm.
reasons. This is where you could have provided more details. This is where you should do this and
Hmm.
that. And in 20 minutes, I had a really session on the how to provide feedback, what I did well, what I didn't. So role plays, yeah, that we used to do in
Yeah,
the
exactly.
trainings. Super, super easy and super efficient, I would say.
Exactly. When now you have this advanced voice mode, right? When you open ChatGPT on your phone and you just talk
Yeah,
to it, it's even
yeah.
better when you can discuss all these things like prepare me for an interview, prepare me for a feedback session. Like it's really an upgrade
I'm still
to
very
whatever
kind.
it was in the
I'm
past.
still very kind to ChatGPT. I greet and I
Are
thank.
you okay? So
Yeah,
you are the one thanking.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah. And these
I sometimes break those.
those guys from our team, they were saying like, yeah, 3 months we were doing it and then we gave up. Now it's like harsh.
Yeah, I'm doing the same.
Yeah.
Like you made a mistake, fix it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm very kind. I'm like, thank you. Hello, can you help me? Yeah.
Oh, it starts like that, but when usually the results are not the ones I expect, and I'm like switching my mode to, anti AI, and I'm like, come on, fix it in 30 seconds. You need to like be better than this.
No, no, no. That's a good one. Yeah.
And then you also have a huge background and experience in retail. You already started, like, you cannot imagine retail without people, right?
Hmm.
I can tell you, I cannot imagine e-commerce, for example, online stores without AI, because some kind of personalization of shopping experience would be nice. For example, I have this application. I don't want to name the brand because they will take it negatively and they will sue me like somewhere. So I keep the brand for myself. But they have this application, really good one. I do shopping there, and they always, every single week, send me an email. But the email is almost the same.
Hmm.
It's always the same
Hmm.
products. I already bought the item and it's still there. This might be interested for you. And I believe that when companies want to like really upgrade their personalization or experience, they should do something else. And that's e-commerce. So do you think in one day there will be actually retail when we just enter the store and it will welcome me like, hi Jan, welcome to store A. You haven't been here for 3 months and this is the new arrivals that came, and it just speaks to you via speakers or whatever.
I guess that will come soon somewhere in China or Korea because they are super advanced in all these things. Of course, it's all about the data. Yeah, and we share data everywhere, and if those data are so widely spread, then it's possible. The question is if this is what we want, that someone is telling you that you haven't been shopping for 3 months, and last time you have spent this and that, and your size has
Yeah.
changed since
Yeah.
last time. So, well, I can imagine this can be for certain industries or certain kind of retails pretty practical.
Mhm.
But for kind of fashion, for example, I think it's also cultural. Yeah, how
Mhm.
much we need, like I was watching recently some videos from Singapore, China, how they really do already things that we only
Mhm.
like how they do things which are very minor there and they are so
Mhm.
advanced and we don't know about them because they are not yet big enough,
Mhm.
but they will grow. And it's like this shopping via phones and all this,
Mhm.
face recognition for whatever. So I think, yeah, in certain probably cultures it will go easy because it will become such a
Mhm.
standard. In our some of our European culture, for example, I think will still somehow be eager to go and retail in a not completely old-fashioned way, but let's
Mhm.
say
Mhm.
combination of the something super sophisticated with something which is still human. So let's see. It's difficult because I think when I was opening big flagship store a couple of
Mhm.
years ago in Berlin, we have done the smart fitting rooms. So when you are in a
Mhm.
fitting room, you're trying your garment, your whatever football
Mhm.
jersey. You can click on the mirror, and it will change the surrounding of the fitting room, so it looks like on the stadium. Or if you are checking the outdoor jacket, you can create the vintage outdoor
Mhm.
sea environment. And then, of course, you can ask for assistance. You can ask for the different size and all these things. And it looked like amazing things. The only thing was that sometimes it was not working. So it was not so flawless since the beginning.
Mhm.
But more and more it became such a good thing. People were enjoying it,
Mhm.
especially calling for the assistance and
Mhm.
different size or
Mhm.
like anyone. And we were pretty strict in terms of how we serve the customer. So if
Mhm.
there was a call that was like 15 seconds to really react and be there within half a minute, and
Mhm.
that became very convenient for people. I want different size, can you bring me this, or can you have a look, is this good? And it became very entertaining, very very nice, very good experience, so we were super happy for that. Yeah, but those are small things. So if I don't know
Mhm.
if the future will be that we enter the store and everything is done. Yeah.
It's already in the fitting
No,
room.
yeah, exactly, we know what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before you enter the store.
Yeah. So let's see. I think we should watch China, what they do, because
Mhm.
that's where it goes really fast. But
Mhm.
again, as I said, my feeling is that culturally could be different. Yeah, it can be a great
Yeah.
inspiration, but how we would probably take it over and implement in
Mhm.
some of our countries could be slightly different.
Mhm. Yeah, and the cultural differences is something I actually discovered recently. Like everybody is talking about China, but I have read a book from Kai-Fu Lee, right, about AI, and the book, he is a former CEO of Google China.
Hmm.
So he was in 2011, 2012, like rolling out Google in
Hmm.
China. It was never successful. And at the end of the day, they actually left
Wow.
China.
Hmm.
Google is not present there because they have Baidu and their own search engines. But the difference is, for example, what actually grabbed my attention was that China actually jumped from cash on hand, so from like real cash, into these phone payments without having a physical plastic cards. So China actually never experienced what we had with PIN codes and so on. They actually skipped that part and then went immediately online.
Mm-hmm.
So they pay now everything via those applications from Tencent, right? There is this what's called not WhatsApp, but is the second whatever, but the biggest player on the in China market, and they actually implemented everything. Like
Mm-hmm.
you can apply for a mortgage there, and it has a score
Mm-hmm.
based on your activities or payments online. So in a couple of seconds, you see like either
Mm-hmm.
you can apply for the mortgage or not, because it already collected data, and you already mentioned that for things moving forward, you need to have a lot of data
Mm-hmm.
about users. Another case, I see one bookstore here in Poland, actually, it's actually collecting a lot of
Mm-hmm.
data without people actually knowing about it. Because when I enter the shopping mall, I have a notification on my phone already saying, this store is 250 meters away from you. Maybe
Wow.
you want to check what's new here. So they already are looking into things, how to actually personalize the experience. Sometimes it's pretty annoying because I just want to buy bread and butter
Yeah.
and I don't want to buy a new book, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Indeed,
But it's there on my
it's a
phone.
great example. Yeah, like sometimes yeah, there is a jump in evolution. Yeah,
Hmm.
especially China. Probably, it's a very very good example. I was watching the video recently about the boy. I think I guess from China, who when he was 3 years old, he started to do funny videos on TikTok about the toys. So
Hmm.
within 2 years, he was doing like proper presentations of different toys. And
Hmm.
I think he's
Hmm.
12 and he's multimillionaire. Yeah. So there are things where just because of, jumping on something in a certain moment, and doing the proper,
Hmm.
like, I would say enhancement of the activities, it can scale up like significantly.
Hmm.
It was coming from one of the interesting ladies. She's a interesting one. I will share with you the contact later, that I'm following on Instagram, and she was saying, well,
Hmm.
it's you never know when the opportunity will appear in
Hmm.
front of you, and what could be the actually progress. And the boy
Hmm.
really, she was like, do you know who is the youngest millionaire or even billionaire in the world? That was the
Hmm.
question. And then she was explaining the story of the boy who is now 12, and he's like huge like
Hmm.
scale on TikTok because of all these toys activities, and of course merchandising and all the other businesses which are coming with that.
Hmm.
So it's now the options are endless, and things can evolve
Yeah.
really rapidly. And
Hmm.
indeed, with all the tools that we have, if we do it smart and right, it
Hmm.
can be incredible. That's why I'm also really like I'm absolutely inspired by people as you, going into the area of AI, and like sharing the knowledge, um, you know, talking about it, because I think this is exactly where we need to be smart and educate ourselves very fast so that we can use it properly. So instead of like,
Hmm.
having this moment like, wow, that's such a change, um, rather going and explore and understand what are the benefits, how can I use it, like let's educate ourselves. I was in Orange, many 20 years ago. I was part of this Orange when the SMS
Hmm.
service was launched. I was part of the pilot group internal, where we got first SMSs tested. And now it sounds completely ridiculous, because SMS is not anymore even that important, because we are all on WhatsApp and I don't know what. But that was a time when things were, for us, like, oh my God. And I remember how I was actually educating my parents, like, okay,
Hmm.
this is coming. There will be a moment when you're gonna see things on the phone, and it's not just, like making a call. Then I was actually teaching my mom how to send email from the mobile phone, which was still like that time like super like revolutionary, yeah. On this Nokia 3110, funny one. So there are things where, instead of like, seeing it as it can be massive. I have seen with my parents how big change it was for them.
Mm-hmm.
So I take it from the same perspective that AI is coming and it's a big change for us. But let's embrace it. Let's find out. Like after years, mobile phone is something which everybody has, even kids.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
started working in Orange many years ago, 20 years ago, with the break that I had then. But that time, uh, and few people had mobile phones. Like that was an
Mm-hmm.
exclusive thing. Yeah, like that was like who had a mobile phone? Like that was like super like big businessman. Now it's completely like it's a
Mm-hmm.
it's a normal product which is like convenient for everyone, very practical. Kids have it. Our parents, whoever seniors, they have it. They use it. iPads, yeah, iPads and all this stuff. So I think it's a part of the evolution.
Mm-hmm.
Could feel like a revolution, but let's take
Mm-hmm.
it like as an evolution and let's try to embrace it. So I'm always like, that's why I'm super like inspired by what you do, and I'm watching what's going on, and I'm like, okay, let's embrace it because that's the better way than just to stand still and somehow feeling okay, this is not gonna be with me. Yeah.
Exactly. The first thing, it's called WeChat. That
Hmm.
super app from China is called
Oh
WeChat.
yeah,
So it just
WeChat.
came
Yeah.
to my mind.
Yeah, yeah.
And thank you, Daddy, for saying that, because actually it was around same time last year when I had this first interaction with ChatGPT, like what should I do in the next 2 and 3 and then 5 and then maybe 10 years. So I actually uploaded my Gallup tests
Hmm.
to ChatGPT.
Hmm.
I looked into my history, and actually, it came all out that maybe AI is a good direction. And 1 year later, I do not regret any single step. I
Amazing,
believe this podcast and everything I do
amazing.
makes sense to me, and probably makes sense to many people now. And when you say education is the key, this is why I, for example, stopped testing tools,
Hmm.
because I don't want to waste my quality time and my brain power
Hmm.
testing tools which are appearing every 30 seconds
Hmm.
as we speak. So there is new tool probably for presentations, for sending
Hmm.
SMSs or whatever, analyzing. So I just stick to my favorite 3 AI tools, which is Midjourney for images, Claude, which is my go-to, and sometimes I use ChatGPT
Hmm.
with my kid when he has a question: who will win the battle, shark or I don't know, a whale? Then I, I ask it via ChatGPT, like, "Hey, Chatty, tell me who will win the fight," and he's like super excited that somebody is talking to him. And I believe that this is something what is coming, that kids will interact even more with AI in the ways that we cannot imagine
Yeah,
today.
yeah. We just need to be careful to so that they still can keep social
Hmm.
interaction, and also that
Yes.
that there is not like um, that this will be the only right answer. Yeah, so the
Hmm.
perception of like if I
Hmm.
ask here, that's the only right answer. So they critical thinking and a little bit like okay, it's a stale tool, and
Hmm.
whatever sophistication is within, maybe mom or dad is right. Yeah, it doesn't matter what ChatGPT
Yeah,
says.
exactly.
So I think we just need
That's
to
true.
we just need to watch that because I have seen also my son doing some homeworks with ChatGPT until I discovered, and I was like, I don't think it's a good idea. You should do it by yourself.
Yeah, I agree. It's, you can help with like calculators, right? You
Yeah,
can
yeah,
get
yeah.
help, but yeah, the critical thinking and this attitude should still be that, yeah, you first and then technology
Hmm.
second.
Hmm.
I
They
believe
need
that.
to understand that this is what should help them and serve
Yeah.
them, and that we are not just the servants of all
Mhm.
these technology.
Exactly. And going to the end of this podcast, Danny, you mentioned also that you follow some people on
Hmm.
Instagram. You are watching my podcast. I
Hmm.
definitely believe you are. And what
I
else do you
like
do
the
to?
one when there was an earthquake. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was mind blowing with Douglas. Yes, it was like, and he was, happy about it.
Yeah,
And when you see his reaction, like, oh, we just had an earthquake, and like a normal storm or whatever. Like,
you're used to that. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, exactly. They are used to that. It's quite amazing, like what different parts of the world can,
exactly.
showcase us. And the question is like, how else do you stay up to date? Like you also said that you work with AI in your job, like you with your team, you created that logo for the your academy and so on. What else do you do? Like, do you read some books you can recommend? And
Oh yeah, I read a lot of books, and I do a kind of like development and business books. Um, I follow a couple of people on Instagram, and if I should start from the, yeah, like my big inspiration a couple of like years ago was of course Robin Sharma. So,
hmm
and all the books that he wrote, and I even follow him on Instagram and a couple of different activities that he does. Even one of my coaches, like a friend, she is also in his big program that
hmm
is, I think, 2 years program that she's also meeting with him personally in
hmm
a quarterly basis. So it's quite like interesting and insightful. And actually, he's coming to Bratislava next year. So I'm really tempted
Okay.
to go there. So Robin Sharma, including
hmm
5 a.m. club, which
Club,
I
yes.
should say I am part of 5 a.m. I'm waking up 5 a.m. In the morning every day. And you know, as we discussed before, that's why I'm gonna read now Atomic Habits, because I believe that I can do these things. So I want to get inspired from that perspective. So
hmm
that's the book that I'm looking forward to read through Christmas. Now I am having a look a lot on the financial
hmm
investment
hmm
topics. Um, I'm reading quite a few things about the angel investments
hmm
because uh, I support startups and everyone who is going to do something without like clearly
hmm
being sure that this is going to happen. And that's how I ended up to be part of certain circles where this angel investment is discussed
hmm
and how it works. And oh, you know, I still am super like amateur in it, but at least I understand how it can be done and how actually it can help startups to
hmm
grow and what is going to happen later, etc. And I met amazing people who are doing startups and are actually applying for certain investments. So those are quite
hmm
like inspirational things for me to see, and how this can actually help like both economies, activities, businesses.
hmm
And I should say that one of these presentations on one circle of presentations that we had with startup founders was also a lot about AI and
hmm
how they are preparing the tools which can help small enterprises, small
hmm
companies to manage the
hmm
business. Really, really interesting, really, really insightful, and actually, you know, great to see that how they see the opportunity within, despite being super well aware of that certain parts
hmm
of that could be very normal in a few years. So their business approach is even smarter in that way, how they should approach it so that the things they do right now, of course, can be standard later on, and how
hmm
they can actually manage so that the business will be successful anyway. So
hmm
those are the things that I do a lot. Of course, I follow sport and a couple of these things because I love it. So I love skiing. So these things so are quite inspirational for me. And you know, also like Adidas that I spend some time
hmm
with, and you as well. So it's also good to see what they do, how they approach retail as well, or even
hmm
the brand, how is evolving, what they do. So yeah, different things. So the coaches, couple
hmm
of inspirational people. We have done a meeting for my sales channels team this year as an Orange Summit. And we had
hmm
amazing guests there because I also wanted to bring them some inspiration. So we had Lenka Poláčková, because that's the first woman, Slovak
hmm
woman who climbed Mount Everest without the oxygen support. So she did it
hmm
last year. Oh no, this year basically, in May. And we had her to talk about the Everest. So what are the Everests for everyone? How we can
hmm
actually, and what was the journey and the preparation. So that was
hmm
amazing. And I also had there for my team a very amazing Paralympics lady from Slovakia,
hmm
Veronika Vadovičová. She also brought a couple of medals from Paris Olympics. So we are talking also about how to, you know, going through things without allowing the limits being your limits, other way around. So she was amazing. So yeah, I'm getting inspiration from different places, and as I said, like currently I have a couple of books that I still want to read, but as I said, the investments and all these interesting things there, startups obviously, like Slovak Czech startups, a couple of coaches that I follow, and sport. Yeah.
And sport. And that's actually me as a generalist. I totally understand that. I'm also getting inspiration, and especially I'm getting inspiration from my guests. So, Danny, thank you very much for being on my podcast. I really enjoyed time with you,
Thank you.
and I believe that our discussion will be continued later as well. So, thank
Absolutely.
you very much for being part of the Exceptional Average.
Thank you very much, Janko. All the best for your podcast, and let's stay in touch. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.